Welcome back, folks. As Steve makes his way up to his seat, we'll watch him very closely. He'll land there at exactly 11:05. Well, what an extraordinary last day and a half. And this session now is devoted to capturing, to the extent that we can, the key lessons learned and begin to identify and map the strategies moving forward. In many ways, this topic is right on point with respect to Ralph's suggestion that we really ought to invite the National Academy of Sciences Governing Board members in the next room here in, because this is what the Academies is all about. It reminds me, by the way, I should mention, just as a point of information, I noted earlier this is the sesquicentennial of the National Academy of Sciences. Actually, these 4 days, starting today, are the birthday celebration, Friday through Monday, and the President will be here on Monday on the formal celebration of the Academy's founding. By the way, as well, another interesting vignette with respect to our creation is that on March 3rd, 1863, the bill to create, or the act to create the charter for the National Academies was written, was introduced, passed, and signed. One day. so things are a little different, and I'm not sure it'd go that well if it were doing today. The Planning Committee identified some key questions for this session. What are the major themes and conclusions from the workshop's presentations and discussions? How can these themes be translated into actionable strategies with designated stakeholders? What are the critical next steps in terms of advancing analytic methods? What are the critical next steps in developing databases that will generate evidence to guide clinical decision making? What are the critical next steps in disseminating information on new methods to increase their appropriate use? There's a fair amount of interpretive license, obviously, in the breadth of those questions. In effect, it seems that what they are asking our panelists to do is to imagine for a few minutes that they are our benevolent supreme rulers of the kingdom of clinical research and address three key questions in that respect. First, as the ruler, what would you be most excited about as you look over the prospects for your kingdom? Secondly, what would you be most worried about? And thirdly, what 1, 2, or 3 revenue neutral priority actions would you take on your own discretion to transform the utility, the depth, and the flow of the knowledge stream, providing better clinical decisions? There's a sort of a parenthetical fourth as well that harkens back to Joe's comment about our looking forward to the learning health system, and that would be, if you're interested, to tee up from your perspective the must-dos for our next meeting on clinical research infrastructure priorities for the continuous learning health system. So folks, with your really quite expansive interpretive license granted to you, we'll turn the floor over to what really is a star-studded group. They are the royalty of clinical research in some ways. Duly, Cindy Mulrow, speaking from her perspective of experience at the Annals with Cochrane and with a number of the research strategy and criteria bodies, really has spent a great deal of her time, in essence, fostering an integrative approach to guidance for clinical research. Jean Slutsky at the Agency for Healthcare Quality and Research has been AHRQ's most visible and most dedicated and fully involved leader at a time at which it's had its most rapid leadership expansion in the arena of shepherding clinical effectiveness research and comparative effectiveness research. She's been the captain of the ship in many respects in that regard. And of course, Steve Goodman, as you all know from his previous comments here, the head of clinical and translational research at Stanford and a longtime field leader in clinical research. Jean and Steve, by the way, were also members of the planning committee. Cindy, we'll ask you to start.